Hello and welcome to the Insights and Motivation YouTube podcast. Yes, this is an AI-generated content, but remember, there was a human at the beginning of it, creating and curating this material with care and purpose. I request you, dear listener, to step aside from any bias and listen to the message itself. Take the message, not the messenger. That is the key. The same is true for the rest of the playlists and podcasts on this channel, each designed to inspire thought, dialogue, and transformation. Now let me begin the podcast. Social justice and equity in schools. No democracy is complete without equity, and no school is truly democratic unless it ensures that every child, regardless of background, has the chance to thrive. Equity is more than a slogan. It is justice in action. It is about recognizing that not every student begins from the same place, and therefore, not every student needs the same kind of support. A truly equitable school adjusts its practices, resources, and culture so that every learner has a fair opportunity to succeed. Why is this principle so necessary? Because inequality in education plants the seeds of inequality in society. When some students consistently have more resources, better support, or greater visibility, the gaps between the privileged and the marginalized grow deeper. Schools that ignore equity may appear orderly on the surface, but underneath they perpetuate cycles of exclusion, leaving some children believing they are destined to fail. The advantages of embedding equity in schools are far-reaching. Peer tutoring programs ensure that stronger students support those struggling, fostering both mastery and empathy. Inclusive clubs welcome students of different abilities, cultures, and identities, breaking down barriers of isolation. Mentorship systems provide guidance to students who might not otherwise have access to role models. These practices are not add-ons. They are the heartbeat of a school that values fairness as much as achievement. Sadly, many schools still mistake equality for equity. They treat all students the same, offering identical resources without considering that some require more to reach the same outcomes. This one-size-fits-all approach may appear fair, but actually entrenches disadvantage. A child from a resource-rich home will thrive regardless, but one from a marginalized background will continue to struggle unless the system actively levels the playing field. The results of ignoring equity are visible all around us. Achievement gaps widen, dropout rates rise, and students from marginalized communities often disengage, feeling that education was never meant for them. Beyond the classroom, this produces societies fractured by inequality, where opportunity is unequally distributed, where resentment festers, and where democracy itself is weakened by the exclusion of voices that were never nurtured. But when schools embrace social justice and equity, the results are transformative. Students learn that fairness is not about treating everyone identically, but about meeting each individual where they are and helping them reach their full potential. They experience the classroom as a place of empowerment rather than exclusion. And as they grow, they carry with them the values of justice, empathy, and responsibility into the wider world. Equity also teaches compassion. When students engage in peer tutoring or inclusive clubs, they begin to see their classmates not as competitors, but as partners in growth. They discover that lifting others does not diminish their own progress, it amplifies it. Schools that practice equity prepare children not only for exams, but for a society where cooperation, understanding, and justice are essential. If schools fail to address equity, they will produce generations that accept inequality as normal and inevitable. But if they build equity into the fabric of education, they will raise citizens who refuse to tolerate injustice, who believe in shared progress, and who are committed to creating systems that uplift everyone. This is the kind of education that strengthens democracy from the roots upward. The classroom, therefore, must become the first workshop of justice. Every tutoring program, every inclusive club, every mentoring relationship is more than an educational initiative. It is a rehearsal for building a fairer society. By embedding social justice and equity into school life, we ensure that education is not merely the transmission of knowledge, but the cultivation of a just and compassionate humanity. Did this podcast resonate with you? Are you an educator or a higher authority with the ability to influence educational policy and reform? If so, I encourage you to share this podcast as widely as possible within your connections, and do share and subscribe to this channel. This channel has lots of playlists and educational psychological content with a focus on how to improve all systems of education, corporate culture, and many such topics. Thank you for listening, and stay tuned for our next podcast.